Hey Nighthawks, here's your last lesson for this week. It's Module 3, Lesson 31. And for this one, our objective is I will be able to interpret division word problems as either number of groups unknown or group size unknown. So what that means is I either need to figure out my divisor, if that's the number of groups, or my group size is going to be the quotient. So I either have to figure out what am I dividing by, or what is the answer to this division problem. Okay, so two different kind of thought processes that we have to approach this with. So I'm going to read the word problems to you. We'll walk them through, and then you'll kind of see what we're watching for to figure out what we're trying to find. Okay, all right. So number one, Dr. Casey has 1,868 milliliters of medicine. So I'm going to record that. 1,868 milliliters of medicine. She pours equal amounts of the medicine into 4 containers. How many milliliters of medicine are in each container? So we know that she's breaking that apart into 4 equal containers. So we know our divisor. We know the number of groups. We do not know the group size. So I can show this as a tape diagram and say, well, here's my whole. I know that the amount that she has is 1,868. I know that she has 4 groups she's going to break that into. What I don't know, not a 2, it's trying to write a question mark. I do not know how much each group will have. So I don't know my quotient. Okay. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to divide 1,868 by 4. And then we'll know how much each container, I was going to say beaker, how much each container will receive. Okay. Same steps like we've been doing all week for our long division, and we're going to check it with multiplication. Okay. So our divisor is 4. 1 is less than 4, so I need to look at 18. How many groups of 4 can I make out of 18? Well, we can skip count. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. 20 is too many. So 1, 2, 3, 4 groups can be made out of 18. 4 times 4 is 16. And now we subtract. 8 minus 6 is 2. Bring down my 6. Remember, one number at a time. So now 26 divided by 4. 20, 24, 28. 28 is too many. So I know that I can make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups out of 26. And 4 times 6 gives me 24. 6 minus 4 gives me 2. Bring down my 8. So 28 divided by 4. And look at our skip counting. We know that we can make an even group of 4 if we have 28. So we can make 7 groups out of 28. 7 goes on my number line. 4 times 7 is 28. No remainder. So our quotient is 467. So let's double check that with multiplication. So we're going to take 467, multiply it by 4. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 2 gives me 26. 26. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2 gives me 18. 1,868, 868, 1,868. So when we go back to our question, it says, how many milliliters of medicine are in each container? We would say 467 milliliters are in each container. And we can come back to our tape diagram and say, well, each of these we now know will be equal to 467. to kind of give you that visual of what we did. We took our total and we broke it into 4 groups because that's what division is. We're breaking it apart. Multiplication, you're making multiple groups together. Okay? All right, let's do another one. Okay, so our next problem is 232 people are driving to a conference. 232 people. If each car holds 4 people, so one car is equal to 4 people, including the driver, how many cars will be needed? Okay, so this, we don't know how many cars we need, but we know our total and we know how much one unit holds. So our tape diagram is going to look slightly different. Okay, so if I were to draw a tape diagram for this, I know that I have 232 total people. I know that one car holds 4 people. What I don't know this time is how many cars I need. So the cars would be our units. I don't know how many units I need, but because I know each car holds 4 people, if I set my problem up as 232 divided by 4, that's going to tell me how many cars we need. Okay, so if I have 232 people, each car holds 4 people. If I divide that, it's going to tell me how many cars we're going to need to haul all the people. Okay, and I left our skip counting since we're working with 4s again. So now let's start our steps. 2 is less than 4, so I need to look at the number as 23. And look up here, if I, how many groups of 4 can I make out of 23? Well, 20, 24, 24 is too many, so I can make 5 groups. So 5 is going to go here. 4 times 5 gives me 20. And then I subtract. 3 minus 0 is 3. And bring down my 2. So now I need to repeat. Go back up to the top. I'm going to divide. 32 divided by 4. Well, I know that 28, if I skip count again, is going to give me 32 because we've got 5, 6, 7, 8. I know that 8 times 4 gives me that 32 that we need. So we're going to have 8 groups of 4 out of 32. 4 times 8 gives me 32. And then I subtract. I do not have a remainder. So if we were to write our answer statement, we're going to check first though. We would say they need 58 cars to haul all those people to the conference. But let's double check and make sure we're correct. 58. We're going to multiply it by our divisor of 4 and we should get 232. So 4 times 8 gives me that 32. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 3 gives me 23. So we did our math correctly. So we would say they will need 58 cars. Whenever you're working with a word problem, we really want to make sure we write our answer statement, okay? Because sometimes we have word problems that have 4 or 5 different steps, 3, 4, 5, and it can get messy. So what I always like to ask students to do, especially when we're working on paper in person, I say box your answer statement so that I can quickly go say, okay, yep, they got it right. And if you didn't get it right, then I can look through your work and see where we missed, had misconceptions. So really always try to write your answer statement out, okay? All right, so we're gonna do one more. All right, so I'm going to read you our last one. So it says 2,365. 2,365 books were donated to an elementary school. If 5 classrooms shared the books equally, how many books did each class receive? So before I write our equation, I want you to try to think in your head or write it on your paper. What's our equation going to look like? We know how many books we have, And we know that 5 classrooms shared them. And our question is, how many books did each of those classrooms get? I want you to think about that for a second. What's our quotient? What's our equation going to look like? So if I were to draw this in my tape diagram, I know I have 2,365 as my whole. And I know that I'm sharing this with 5 classrooms. But what I don't know is how many will each classroom get. So remember on that first one we did, we divided by the amount of units. So we took 2,365, divided it by 5. So if that's what you wrote down or what you said, nice work. Nice work. Okay. And then we can go through our steps. 2 is less than 5. So we're going to look at 23. We can skip count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Well, I know that 4 groups of 5 is 20 because 5 times 4 gives me 20. 5 groups would be too many because I only had 23. So 5 times 4 gives me 20. I subtract. 3 minus 0 is 3. 2 minus 2 is 0. And I like to just leave it blank because then when I bring my 6 down, I can easily see 36. Okay. And I want you guys to challenge yourself. Like you can keep skip counting if you want, or this is a good way to practice your basic facts, right? So 5 times 5, 25. 5 times 6, 30. 5 times 7, 35. 5 times 8, 40. 40 is too many. So 5 times 7 gives me that 35, so I can make 7 groups. 5 times 7, 35. And then I subtract. 6 minus 5 is 1. 3 minus 3 is 0. Now leave that there. Bring down my 5. 15 divided by 5. Well, I know that 5 times 3 is 15. And if you didn't, we skip counted up here. So there's 1, 2, 3. So 15 divided by 5 is 3. 5 times 3 is 15. So we should be able to say that each classroom got 473 books, but check it with multiplication, okay? So we're going to take 473, multiply it by 5. 5 times 3, 15. 5 times 7, 35, plus 1 gives us 36. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 3 more gives us 23. I'm going to see 2. 23. 2,365, 2,365. So we can say each classroom, you can still see that. Each classroom will get 473 books. So when you guys look at this, look at all that work we just did to solve one problem, okay? So if you guys are going through your math lessons and you have nothing on your paper, would you give yourself a level 1, 2, 3, 4 for effort? We've been talking about that a lot in our classes, right? So level 1 is, I kind of tried. Level 2 is, I did a little. Level 3, I tried, but maybe not full effort. Level 4, your paper looks like mine, my whiteboard, or your whiteboard, whatever you're working on. Math can get messy. Math takes putting stuff on paper to get it done, okay? So if you're doing your ed puzzles without any materials, then you're not giving yourself a level 4 effort and you're not giving yourself a good chance of mastering this. So really make sure you are always doing this with me. When you guys are doing your questions, you should be doing it on paper. Do not guess. Okay, do not guess. All right, good job today. And we'll keep working on this in small groups this week. And you guys are going to be pro at dividing before you know it. Good job today. We'll see you soon.